Hi, some thoughts for today, the 9th Sunday after Trinity. On Tuesday, the 11th of September 2001, a US passenger jet, Delta 15, was flying over the North Atlantic when the Twin Towers came down. The plane was ordered to land at the nearest airport, so the crew headed for Newfoundland's Gander Airport. 40 minutes later, they landed to find 53 other aircraft on the ground from all over the world. The passengers were told that each plane was to be offloaded one at a time. So the following morning at 11 a.m. it was the turn of Delta 15. A flight attendant takes up the story. A convoy of school buses showed up at the side of the aeroplane. The stairway was hooked up and the passengers were driven to the terminal for processing. We, as the crew, were taken to a different area and isolated from our passengers. We had no idea where in Gander our passengers were going. The town of Gander has a population of 10,400 people, and these folks now found themselves giving hospitality to 10,500 passengers and crew. Our 218 passengers ended up in a town called Lewisport. They were put on a high school. Women-only facilities were arranged if needed. Families were kept together, and a young pregnant lady was put up across the street from a 24-hour urgent care facility. Doctors were on call. During the day, passengers were given a choice of excursion trips, boat cruises, walks in the local forest. Food was prepared by all the residents and brought to the school. They were given tokens to go to the local laundromat, since their luggage, with change of clothing, was still on the plane. Every single need was met. When our passengers eventually came back on board, it was as if they had been all on a cruise. Our flight back to Atlanta looked and sounded like a party flight. We, as crew, simply stayed out of their way. The passengers had totally bonded, using first names, swapping stories, as well as phone numbers and also email addresses. Then a strange thing happened. One of the business class passengers approached me and asked if he could speak over the PA to his fellow passengers. We never allow that. Something, though, told me to get out of his way. I said, of course. The gentleman picked up the microphone and reminded everyone about what they had all just gone through in the last few days. He reminded them of the hospitality they had received at the hands of total strangers. He said that he wanted to do something for the good folks of Lewisport. He said he was going to set up a trust fund under the name of Delta 15. The purpose would be to provide a scholarship for high school students of Lewisport to help them to go to college. He asked for donations. When the bowl with donations came back to us with the amounts, names, phone numbers and addresses, the amount totaled $14,500. The gentleman who started this was a doctor from Virginia. He promised to match the donations and to begin the administrative work. Today, the trust fund is worth over $1.5 million and has so far given 134 scholarships to local students ranging from medicine to engineering to business and also nursing. Now, over the past few Sundays, we've been tagging along with the crowd following Jesus. We have not let him rest. When Jesus and his friends crossed Galilee, we walked around the shore to meet him. When they were looking for a quiet place to rest a while, we rocked up with our noise. When they returned to Capernaum, there we were, especially after he laid on that picnic with the loaves and fishes, and it did not cost us anything. The meal was free, so we're not going to let him go, especially if he can feed us for nothing. Years later on, a certain writer, John Chrysostom, was to write, "Men are nailed to the things of this life." Too right, we say, especially when they're free. Then we caught up with Jesus today. He sees right through us and knows why we are still following him. Also, Jesus could see beyond our need for a free lunch. He seemed to know that some of us felt lost. Some of us felt cut off from so much of the world around us. He also seemed to know that we had a hunger and thirst for a close and meaningful relationship with God. He just seemed to be able to look into our hearts and souls to see our emptiness. Then we asked him, so what must we do to perform the works of God? Then he told us that simply we must believe in him. Come to me, he said, and you will never be hungry. Believe in me, and you will never be thirsty. As these words were crucial to the crowd around Jesus all those years ago, they are just as crucial to us who crowd around Jesus today. Jesus asks us to come to him and to gain strength and life from following his words. We all have a hunger for truth, for life and for love, and that is what Jesus gave to the crowd around him. The passengers of Delta 15, who dropped in so unexpectedly to the good folks, received a wonderful generosity, and they in turn gave of their love and gratitude. Once the barriers are down and we recognize our common need and hunger, we can feast gloriously, whether it be on loaves and fish or Newfoundland hospitality. Jesus says, come to me and share me with a hungry world. So travel safe, pilgrim.